welcome to Thek-talks podcast, and I'm Thek, your host, and we have been sitting in samples from my book, Contrast, Stop Yelling in the Dark and Turn on the Light. You can find it in Amazon. This time we're going to read maybe about a page or 2.5 or something like that. I have a bigger sample for you guys, so bear with me on the reading, okay? Even though I wrote it, you still can stumble. See, I'm stumble on reading and talking, as you can see, right? I am definitely not perfect. Okay. So yeah, this sample, we're going to be reading through page 36 on to page 38. I'm trying to think. Not all the way through 38, but partially on the top part. I'll see if I can get some pictures on here for you guys as I go through here and edit, and then that way you can kind of like read along with me, so you're not seeing this boring face reading to you. Okay. So let us begin. Okay, reading chapter 13. Matthew is about the story of planting seeds. Let's tap in at 13, verses 18 through 23, the NIV version. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 160 or 30 times what was sown. We need to be ready. We need to let go and give permission for God to cultivate our hearts to receive the seeds that He holds in His hands, prepared to pour into our lives. He sometimes allows for the seeds of peace, love, and joy to fall on us even when we have weeds. But why doesn't it stay there? It's all the things that happened to the seed mentioned in chapter 13. I know we need contrast to see what we need his cultivation of the heart. We need to know what hard looks like to understand what soft is. We need to understand what God's ways are and what are not. If it wasn't for Him to allow what is and what isn't in our lives, then how would we know and see the difference between God's ways compared to our selfish ways? What are they? We need contrast. Learning compared to growth. I had to gain knowledge and understanding of the craft of our message. Let me start over. We're on page 37, learning compared to growth. I had to gain knowledge and understanding of the craft of massage to become skilled. I went to school for it and learned a lot. But did I grow? I gained more knowledge, but I didn't improve me. I didn't grow as a person. This knowledge didn't cultivate in my heart. It didn't churn soil. Gaining more of what I was learning didn't humble me. If anything, I think I was prouder in myself. This is what can happen when we read God's word. Although, unlike any other knowledge out there, reading and hearing God's word will have an effect on you unlike anything else. I knew and saw in my life people who had gone to church, read God's word, and yet had seen little to no change in them. No growth, no contrast, the same. I've heard a saying that kind of goes, just because you walk in the garage, it doesn't mean you become a car. This is true to a person who walks in the church. That doesn't automatically make them a follower, a believer, and a Christian. You have to be humble and be willing to apply God's ways and put away your ways to grow. Just like the seed is planted, it has to die to itself. I believe that sometimes God sits aside from us for growth to take place. I know that in my life, He causes my soul to become hungry and thirsty for more of Him. He wants more of you. You want more for you. For more, we need to be empty to receive. For the sake of contrast, how can you receive from God if you are full of something else? How can you receive more if the door to your heart is closed? How do you open the door to your heart? NIV version says, Revelation 3:20, "Here I am. I stand at the door and I knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me." You see here, God is a gentleman. He doesn't pry the door open. He doesn't demand it to be open. You have to open it. I want more, and I was hungry for more. I knew I needed more. God was on the move when I opened up to Him. And that is it for now. I hope you can understand that I am not perfect. I make mistakes. And yes, I did kind of stumble there in a little bit. But I hope you can see past that and got what you needed and what God wanted to show you. I thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. It means the world to me. And I really do try my best to help people in their journey with the Lord, to encourage them to not give up, especially when life is really hard and when you're struggling and when you're feeling depressed or anxious or fearful or whatever. I know how that feels. And I know how dark and gloomy it can be. And I know how fear can isolate you. And I know how bitterness can entrap you, and it can be like your vice even. And so with that being said, that's why it's my heart to come alongside you and to help you, to pray with you, to hopefully give you some godly advice that would soften your heart to receive more from God, because God has more for you. All right. I hope this has blessed you, and I pray that it does. If it has, please do me a favor, hit the like button right now and drop a comment of what you got out of this little session. And please do me a favor, share with at least one person that the Lord puts in your mind that would help them out too. And it will help this channel out to grow so that YouTube knows that, hey, we want to see more godly Christian content in YouTube, and we're going to stand firm in that. All right. And you're going to can join hands with me when it comes to providing content in this YouTube platform. Okay. And so, yeah, I think that's about it. I have one more next week. Next week would be our last little sample of my book. And like I said in the beginning, you can get this in Amazon. Just write "Contrast, Stop Yelling in the Dark, and Turn on the Light" by Tekla Wright. All right. I will see you next time here. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye.